So we have a wonderful program tonight. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Emily Chiang with the ACLU of Washington to the stage. Emily is the legal director of the ACLU of Washington, where she oversees the legal department and the litigation it brings to protect civil liberties throughout the state. This is the kind of lawyer that we Indians love. So, welcome, Emily.
Sherman is considerably taller than I am. Some adjustments to be made. I'm in the unfortunate position of having to follow his act, and then I'm not going to be able to keep up with anyone who comes after me. But there's never been a better time to work at the ACLU. I feel really privileged to be with the organization today. I actually grew up in New York City, where I worked for the racial justice program at the National Legal Department of the ACLU. It's our mothership. Never thought I would leave. Met a guy, I moved, was gone for 6 years, and it's really good to be back. I'm really pleased. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately, right? Like I get a lot of people calling, there's a lot of anxiety in the air, and everyone wants to know, what are we gonna do? What's the ACLU gonna do? What are you doing to get ready? Are you getting ready? Are you ready? What can I do? What should I be doing to make myself ready, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and what I really want to focus on is that last part, right? Like what you all can do. I have the glorious luxury of a day job that feeds my soul, like the others sitting here with me, and I feel really privileged about that, actually. It's not as good as I imagine white privilege must be, but it's pretty good. It's good. It means, for example, that like I don't need to feel guilty if I oversleep tomorrow and I don't make it to the march. I'm like, I gave it the office. I did my bit already. And I know I'm fighting to protect the most vulnerable among us. And I think that's an aspect of the ACLU that sometimes doesn't get as much focus as I personally think it should. I think it's really what the ACLU does best. So sure, it's about civil liberties, it's about civil rights, but at the end of the day, we stand up for the most vulnerable among us, whoever that happens to be at any given point in time. I don't know how many of you heard about the lawsuit that we filed yesterday against the city of Seattle, Washington State Department of Transportation, to protect homeless people. Yeah. So, thanks. I was really proud of that lawsuit. It's cold outside, and instead of focusing on getting people into safe, warm spaces, the city and WSDOT have been basically forcing people to move around. They've been taking their stuff, they've been seizing it, they've been destroying it. A lot of that stuff is critical for survival. Some of it isn't, but it's just stuff that you want, right? Like we all have stuff. We like that stuff. That stuff is ours. And part of the beauty of being an American is the government isn't supposed to be able to come into your house or your home, if it's not a brick and mortar house, and to take that stuff, right? Without saying anything to you, without giving you a heads up, like, hey, we're gonna take that sofa now out of your living room. Without giving you an opportunity to say, yo, I was using that item over here, and I wanna keep it. So it may not seem like a traditional ACLU case. It's not about the First Amendment. It's not about President Trump. But I think it's classic ACLU because we're standing up for the vulnerable, right? The homeless. Our job is to remind the government that it is not just the powerful who have rights in our society. It's everyone. So in the years to come, I think we're going to be spending a lot of time doing this, right? Fighting for the most vulnerable among us, and to protect these bedrock principles because we have every reason to believe that they're going to be under attack. So what are we doing? We recently put up a job posting for a lawyer to help us with policing and immigration issues. I encourage you to find the posting, share it widely, apply, those of you who are lawyers in the room. We are conducting trainings across the state, including trainings for mosques whose members are frankly terrified, and I think reasonably so. We're going to fight for the right of transgender people to exist. And incidentally, to use the bathroom that is appropriate for their gender. Yeah, and I urge you to join us in this fight. You don't need to be a lawyer. You don't even need to have a lot of spare time to march and to volunteer, although those are definitely good things. You know, our plan, our job, my day job is to fight the big fights, right? Like if there is a Muslim registry, if that comes to pass, to help protect a woman's right to choose, to make sure that you have the right to protest. And we are going to need your help, but there's countless little battles every day all around, and you are needed there too, right? So be kind to one another. Stand with people who are being bullied, whether it's on the street or on a listserv. Feed your soul, engage with your community, right? Volunteer at a soup kitchen. You don't have to give the homeless guy money, but give him a wave, like say, hello, neighbor. Support organizations like the ACLU, but not just the ACLU, right? Other groups need your love too, like some of these guys over here. And you don't have to, I mean, cash is great. I appreciate that, Sherman. But you know what? The staff at these places, you send them a thank you email or a note, or like, you know, drop by and say thanks for the work that you're doing. We like that too. And in fact, let's all say thank you right now to some of these great people. So stay strong. Remember, no one trumps the Constitution.